What is going on, guys? Fitcho here, and welcome back to the Fitcho Career. It is episode number 1 of Season 2. We're here in Melbourne for the first round of the season, my first ever race in Formula 1, and of course, my first ever home Grand Prix, because I was born and raised in Melbourne. I've been to this track many times, both as a racetrack and as the streets that it is for the rest of the year. I've been to MSAC, the Sports and Aquatic Centre down at Turn 3, the school buses parked on the apex of Turn 4. I've been to this track many times in real life, but never in these circumstances, never in a Formula 1 car about to race around the Albert Park Lake circuit. But if we have a look at yesterday's qualifying results, the other Australian, Daniel Ricciardo, has qualified on pole position, so he's going to be starting his home Grand Prix from pole position, the best possible place to start. The home fans absolutely loved that yesterday. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is the Tyrrell of Carlos Sainz. The second row of the grid is Max Verstappen, and the other Tyrrell of Sergio Perez, with an all-Ferrari third row of the grid, with Sebastian Vettel just getting the upper hand on Antonio Giovinazzi. And Antonio Giovinazzi actually set the exact same lap time as Stoffel Vandoorne, because he said it first in the session, he gets to start 6th, with Vandoorne starting in 7th. Fernando Alonso, after his return to Renault, qualified behind the highest McLaren, but only by a small margin. He's going to be starting alongside Stoffel Vandoorne on the 4th row of the grid. On the 5th row of the grid is the other McLaren and the other Renault, with Valtteri Bottas in 9th and Nico Hülkenberg in 10th, and the top 10 were only separated by less than 4 tenths of a second. Romain Grosjean got the upper hand in the battle between Williams and Force India. He'll start 11th, with both Force Indias just behind him, Esteban Ocon in front of Luca Ghiotto, and then Pascal Wehrlein in 14th. Charles Leclerc will start from 15th, with both Toro Rossos behind him, with Gasly just getting the upper hand on his far more experienced teammate Daniel Kvyat, with Kevin Magnussen in 18th. I will be starting this race from 19th, as I got the upper hand on both BMW Saubers and my teammate, and I actually outqualified my teammate Kamui Kobayashi by over half a second. So if we have a look at the race strategy for today's Australian Grand Prix, it's going to be a 2-stop race, starting on the super soft tyres and swapping to a set of softs, and then another set of softs. And if we look at the session forecast, it's going to be quite overcast for the first half of the race, but then it's going to get sunnier, so it doesn't look like there is any chance of rain. Also, I just want to remind you guys that I'm doing a Q&A for 1,000 subscribers, so if you got any questions that you want to ask me, make sure you comment them down below with the hashtag Q&A. But without further ado, let's get into the Australian Grand Prix. Here we go, engage the clutch, get the revs up as the lights come on. We've got 5 lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. The Australian Grand Prix is underway. We've got a brilliant start from 19th place on the grid, as we're past both Toro Rossos and Kevin Magnussen as we now head down towards the first corner. We're just going to be very careful, as they're 3 wide in front of us, both Force Indias and Pascal Wehrlein. I think that's Esteban Ocon who's lost out of those 3, as we're going side by side with him now as we head down towards turn number 3. We're going to go late on the brakes, try and go right around the outside of the Frenchman, and we've done so successfully, as we're now into 14th place. We're in a Force India sandwich, as up next we have Luca Ghiotto, someone we know very well from GP2, as we head down towards turn number 6. We're just going to be careful right now. We don't want to pick up any damage in the early phase of this race. That being said, though, we don't have the quickest car, and our best option is to try and make up track position. So we're going to dive up the inside of Luca Ghiotto into turn number 9. We make that move stick now into 13th places. Up next is Pascal Wehrlein in the Williams. Here comes Esteban Ocon up our inside as we head down towards turn number 3. We're going to try and hang it right around the outside of the Frenchman as we get the inside line for turn number 4, and we hold on to 13th place for now. But as you can see, both the Williams are fighting up ahead, and this could give us an opportunity to try and get in front of both those Mercedes powered cars, as we are closing up to them as they are battling. But we're going to be battling with Esteban Ocon, who is still right on our gearbox. Is he going to think about it up the inside of turn number 9? No, he's going to think better of that move. Here comes Esteban Ocon. He's going to our outside as we head down towards turns 11 and 12. We've got the inside line, and we hold on to the position for now. And he's actually fallen back a little bit, so that's going to help us, give us a little chance to breathe, or maybe at least till the pit straight. Oh, I've been hit by Esteban Ocon. He's just hit us up the rear there as I was going straight down the racing line as we headed towards turn number 1. I saw a little bit of debris, so we might have front wing damage, but nevertheless, the Frenchman is going to our inside down at turn number 3 yet again. We're going to go right around the outside and get the racing line back for turn number 4, and we hold on to the position for now, but he might have a little bit of front wing damage now, so that might cause some problems for him and help us a little bit. Here comes Esteban Ocon. He's going to our outside as we head up towards turns 11 and 12. And I've got the racing line and I take the inside line there and hold on to the position. And I think when he was going down my outside, I just noticed on the left side of his wing, he might be missing an end plate there. Here it goes, yet again, up our inside, down into turn number 3. And yet again, we're going to try and go right around the outside of the Frenchman, which we do, and we hold on to the position for now. But it looks like there is another car joining this two-way fight, making a three-way fight, and that looks like Charles Leclerc in the Haas car. Here goes Esteban Ocon to our outside as we head down towards turn number 11 as the yellow flags came out. Sebastian Vettel is out of this race. There's been an incident up ahead. There is Sebastian Vettel facing the wrong way. That is a very high-speed part of the track. What on earth has happened to Ferrari's main man? I have no idea, but is that going to trigger a safety car? It doesn't look like it's going to, but that is a very odd place to end up backwards there. That is very, very strange. He's definitely had a helping hand. Here comes Charles Leclerc up our inside down into turn number 3, and we're going to try to do the exact same move around the outside of the Monegasque driver. Gives us the inside for turn number 4, and we hold on to that position, which is now 10th place. I think 2 cars may have pitted, and of course Sebastian Vettel is now out of the race, so that is another position, and we're now battling essentially for the final place in the points. But once the stops filter through, there should be a battle for 12th place. Here comes Esteban Ocon. He's going to our inside down into turn number 3. We go very, very deep this time, deeper than I wanted to, but we still managed to hold on to the position, going right around the outside of the Frenchman. Here comes Esteban Ocon. He's going to our outside through turn number 10, up towards turns 11 and 12, and we dive back up his inside. We have the racing line, and we hold on to the position for now. Here comes Esteban Ocon up our inside, and it looks like he's got the move done. Can we squeeze back around his outside? Yes, we can, and that's going to give us the inside for turn number 4. We squeeze him out, and we hold on to that position. I didn't think I was going to hold on there, as I had a big moment through turn number 2, compromising my run all the way down towards 3, and that's why he was fully ahead of me by the time we got to the corner, but I was able to go late enough on the brakes to hold on to what is now 7th place, as a lot of cars have made their pit stops. Speaking of pit stops, we're going to dive into the pit lane for our first stop of the race. Get on the brakes, get the car stopped. We don't want to be speeding into the pit lane in our first ever Formula 1 race. That would not look very good at all. And we're going to be swapping onto the soft tyres, getting rid of these super softs. Then after this, we have one more stop to make onto another set of softs, as we're dropping down to 18th place, possibly even 19th. No, they're all in the pit lane. We're going to come out of the pits in 18th place now, as we're on to the soft compound tyre. We've got Antonio Giovinazzi up next on the road. So he seems a little bit out of sync. Maybe he was involved in that incident with Sebastian Vettel, forcing him to go for an early pit stop, because he has swapped onto the medium tyres, which seems like a bit of an odd strategy. The mediums are a bit of a waste here at Melbourne, I thought. So I'm surprised he's gone onto that tyre, so that possibly could have been what happened. We've got Charles Leclerc behind us, and he is a little ways behind us. Looks like he is back at turn 4 still. That is Kevin Magnussen coming out of the pit lane right in front of us. He's going to park it right on the apex. We're going to go for the switchback to his outside through turn number 2, side by side with the Danish driver, and we just get ahead of him into 17th place. That was very, very close there on the pit exit. Here comes Kevin Magnussen to our inside as we head down towards turns 11 and 12, and the safety car is out right as we're going side by side there with Kevin Magnussen. I think we just had our nose ahead when it came out, and I have no idea what this is for, as no one has retired from this race. That is a very odd safety car, and there is Fernando Alonso there He is going very, very slowly. I feel like he's been caught up in some sort of incident that's triggered this safety car as we're fighting with the Deletraz. Our teammate has come into the pit lane. We've just pitted. There is no point for us to dive into the pit lane. We're just going to have to try and hope we can jump a few people that have jumped into the pit lane. This Delta is going to make that very, very difficult. Oh, come on, Kvyat. Pass the safety car. That's what the green light means. Pass the safety car. The green light on the safety car means pass it. Come on. Go for it. Gun it. Yes. Good boy, Kvyat. There we go. Here we go. End of lap 13 and the safety car is coming in. And this is rather frustrating because you can see Grosjean, Giotto and Gasly, they all came out of the pit lane just in front of Daniel Kvyat. If he hadn't forgotten how to pass the safety car, we would have been in front of all three of those drivers as we're about to go back to green flag racing. And there are the green flags as we head into the hairpin, and we're on the back of the Russian Daniel Kvyat as we come through the final corner onto the pit straight. We're going to put the car up into rich revs. Of course, no DRS on the safety car restart, but slipstream and rich revs are enough up the inside of the Russian down into turn number 1, and we take that position from Daniel Kvyat. Here comes Kevin Magnussen up our inside down into turn number 13. We're going to go right around the outside of the Haas and hold on to 15th place as everyone behind him has really dropped back. I'm not too sure what has happened there, but everyone seems to have dropped back but Kevin Magnussen. So Kvyat must have been all over the road or something after we passed him and caused some sort of incident. You can see there is a massive gap now behind Kevin Magnussen. That just seems rather odd, and I don't think Kevin's going to be able to challenge us down into turn number 1, but we missed the apex of turn number 1. We're now going to have a poor run through 2 and onto this DRS straight. We're going to defend the inside lines. Here comes Kevin Magnussen to our outside down into turn number 3, and we're going to close the door on him there on the outside and hold on to 15th place. Something has happened in this train in front of us. They're going very, very slowly, and they're very bunched up, and we've caught up to the back of them as we're going to dive up the inside of Pierre Gasly in to turn number 9, I should say, and we make that move stick. Now into 14th place, we've got Luca Giotto up next, and all these cars seem to be on the super soft tyres as we are on the soft tyres, so really we shouldn't be able to keep up with these cars, especially considering our car is nowhere near the pace of these other cars at this stage. Here comes Gasly down our inside into turn number 3, around the outside of the Frenchman. He's still there as we head into turn number 4. Going to squeeze him out and hold on to 14th place for now. Here comes Pierre Gasly to our outside. We're being bump drafted by Kevin Magnussen, who yet again has hit us up the rear as we're going side by side with Gasly. A little bit of contact there as we try to squeeze through side by side. Now Kevin Magnussen is trying to follow Gasly through, and now he's hit the back of Gasly as we're going to dive back to the outside through turn 13, right around the outside of Magnussen, but we can't go around the outside there of Pierre Gasly. We're going to swap back. Can we dive up the inside of the hairpin? No, we're going to think better of that. It's not really an overtaking opportunity, but we're going to have DRS as we now head on to the pit straight. We have fallen a fair way back even in those 2 corners there, but we have rich revs and slipstream, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We're going to try and be careful through turn number 1, get a good run out of turn 1 onto turn 2 and onto the DRS straight down to turn 3, and again we're not going to be close enough to the back of that Toro Rosso, and I'd say Gasly is past, and he is now going to pull away from us as the Toro Rosso is obviously quicker than the Toyota, and of course he's on super soft tyres and we are on the soft tyre. Here comes Kevin Magnussen up our inside, down the DRS straight towards turn number 3. We're on the outside, but we're going to go right around the outside and hold on to 14th place. He's going to go for it yet again to the outside as we head up to turns 11 and 12. We have the inside line, and we're going to hold on to the position as Kevin Magnussen continuously tries that same move, the outside of turn 11 and the inside at turn number 3, and he can't get it done at either of those spots. And every attempt he has made so far, we just know how to defend. And at the end of this lap, I believe Jeff just told us to come into the pit lane. I think lap 18 sounds about right for our pit window, and yes it is, as we're going to come into the pit lane for our second and last stop of this Grand Prix, get the car stopped for the limiter, which we do successfully. So the end of lap 18, we are into the pit lane. From, I think it was 15th place or something, as there are a lot of cars in the pit lane. This pit lane is very, very busy. Toro Rosso, Force India, Renault, and I think it was Williams all in the lane, and also Haas, as we have swapped onto another set of soft tyres, and we're going to be going to the end from here, and I think everyone else is also going to be going to the end from here, and Pierre Gasly has swapped onto the medium tyres, and we're on the soft tyres, so we're going to have a tyre advantage over the Toro Rosso driver, and that could help us, and that could give us the chance to try and catch and pass the Frenchman. Yellow flags are out, and Kevin Magnussen is coming out of the pit lane right in front of us as Ocon is off the track, and we get an illegal overtake there on Kevin Magnussen coming out of the pit lane. That is really going to hurt us, as we've lost a lot of time to Pierre Gasly, who, technically speaking, did also illegally overtake the Haas driver, but he doesn't seem to have to give back that position. But I'm not too sure what has happened to Esteban Ocon, because he is not out of this Grand Prix, but he was stopped in a very odd location there on the exit of turn 1, and it looks like there is a fair few cars now right in front of Pierre Gasly up ahead. So it looks like there might have been a few cars involved in that incident, and we're going to have to try and stick to the back of that Haas right in front of us. We're in rich revs as we come out of turn 9 onto turn 10. I don't think we're going to be close enough for a move into 11. We're right on the back of Kevin Magnussen. We've got the car in rich revs up the inside at turn number 13. Squeeze out the Danish driver, and we make that move stick. Now into 15th places. Up next, we have Pierre Gasly, who's gotten away from us a little bit, as of course we had that little incident with the yellow flags and the illegal overtake on Kevin Magnussen, but he is on the medium tyres and we are on soft tyres. But his car is faster. It's going to be a question, can we try and catch him, as there is another car in the pit lane? So we are now up into 14th place as Kevin Magnussen looks like he's going to come back at us as we head through turns 1 and turn number 2, and now onto the DRS straight. We've got the Haas right behind us. He's going to pull to our inside, I think, as we head down towards turn number 3. The same move yet again. We're going to go around the outside of the Haas and hold on to 14th place for now, and this battling is going to make it very difficult for us to catch up to Pierre Gasly up ahead. Here we go again. Magnussen to the outside at turn number 11. We've got the inside line, and we hold on to the place for now. Yellow flags ahead. Full course safety car. We have a safety car with only a few laps to go, and the other Ferrari is out. Antonio Giovinazzi, he's lost a wheel there. Something has happened. Disaster here in Melbourne for the Ferraris, as I almost got caught out there by the Deletraz. I stopped paying attention to it, and we're going to pit for a fresh set of super soft tyres. We only have 7 laps left here in Melbourne, and we've got a full course safety car as we come into the pit lane, get the car stopped for the limiter. Into the pits we go for a third stop in this race. We're going to be swapping onto some super soft tyres, trying a bit of an alternate strategy here. And we've also got a Renault in the pits, and he is getting a front wing change. That is Fernando Alonso. So he has gotten caught up with Antonio Giovinazzi, I'd say, as we are onto some super soft tyres. It looks like we have lost a couple of places, even down to 17th place now. But we are on fresh super soft tyres. We have the tyre advantage once we go back to green flag racing here in Australia, as Roland and Alonso almost came together there on the pit exit. And we're going to jump it down into lean rev so we can save some fuel, so we can really go on the attack at the final few laps of this race. Here we go. The safety car is coming in at the end of lap 26. We're going to have 3 laps of racing, and we are down in 18th position, but we're on brand new super soft tyres. We have the tyre advantage over absolutely everyone as we chuck the car into rich revs. We're about to go back to green flag racing any second now, just waiting for the greens to fall. And there we go. We're instantly going to dive up the inside of Alonso, and Verstappen is out of this race. Must be an engine blowout. No other way you could retire from this race that quickly on a safety car restart. And there you could see the stricken Red Bull as we head down towards turn number 1 on the back of Oliver Rowland as we take an atrocious line there through turn number 1. We've got grass on our tyres, and that is not going to help us, as now we've got Alonso heading to our outside as we head down towards turn number 3. We're going to go very late on the brakes and squeeze out the Spaniard there on the exit and hold on to 16th place. We've got Oliver Rowland right in front of us. Pin the throttle, we'll try to, through turn number 5 on the back of the Brit. Can we dive up the inside? No, we're too far back at this stage. But now we're going to keep the car in rich revs. Still on the back of the BMW Sauber up towards turn number 9. It's a heavy braking zone. Can we look up the inside? Very aggressive there on the Sauber, and we make that move stick now into 15th place. And up next is Daniel Kvyat, and he is on the medium tyres, so we should have a big tyre advantage over the Russian. There are cars absolutely everywhere ahead of us as we head through turn 13. We're going to gain a heap of positions up into 12th place now on the back of Louis Deletraz. We've got Charles Leclerc still on our inside, down into the hairpin, around the outside of the Monegasque driver. We've got the inside line for the last corner. I have no idea what the hell happened there, but we got past our teammate. I think it was Kvyat. Charles Leclerc, who is now challenging us up the inside down into the first corner. We're going to try and go right around the outside of the Monegasque driver, and we do so successfully, but that's going to allow Louis Deletraz to get away, who is also on the super soft tyres. We're right on the back of Louis Deletraz out of turns 11 and 12 in the slipstream up the inside of turn number 13 on the Swiss driver, and we make that move stick now into 11th place, only one place outside the point. And up next is Kevin Magnussen in the other Haas, and he is on soft tyres, so we have the tyre advantage, and we do have rich revs to run for the entire last lap, but we only have one lap left to run, and that is still a very big margin between us and Magnussen. It's 2.3 seconds. It's going to be insane for us to actually catch him. I don't think it's actually possible, as now on to the DRS straight. I think Deletraz is far enough back to not actually challenge us. Yellow flags are out. What has happened? No, it looks like it was something behind us, and we're not going to gain another position. We're going to cross the line to finish in 11th place, just one place there outside of the points. We couldn't catch Kevin Magnussen on that final lap, and that really doesn't surprise us. That Haas is a lot quicker than our Toyota, and I'm not too sure what did the gap actually come down to between me and Magnussen. It ended up being just less than 2 seconds, so I pulled in about half a second on that last lap, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately. And in hindsight, maybe not pitting when that safety car came out might have gotten us 1 point, because we were in front of Kevin Magnussen, so we might have been in 10th place, but I thought at the time, we're in 14th place I think when it came out, the best bet was to pit if we wanted to have a chance at points. Little did I know that a few other cars like Alonso were going to pit, who got caught up in that incident with Giovinazzi, I believe, and then Verstappen having the engine failure and other things like that. I didn't realize that was going to happen, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. Carlos Sainz has won his first ever Grand Prix by winning today's Australian Grand Prix for Tyrrell Racing, and of course this is Tyrrell's first race back in Formula 1 after a very long absence from the sport. I believe it's been 20 years since Tyrrell last featured on a Formula 1 grid, and that was back in 1998. So Tyrrell have really returned with a bang, winning their first race back in the sport. In second place was Stoffel Vandoorne from McLaren, and of course this is McLaren's first race back with Mercedes power in the back of their car, and that just proves how good their chassis has been all this time. In the last 3 seasons it's been Honda that's been weighing them down. On the final step of the podium was Daniel Ricciardo, the hometown hero, who unfortunately couldn't turn pole position into a race win, but nonetheless is standing on the podium in front of his home crowd. In 4th place is Nico Hülkenberg with Valtteri Bottas in 5th. Sergio Perez came home in 6th place with Romain Grosjean in 7th. Luca Ghiotto finished in 8th place, scoring points on his Formula 1 debut. So a great debut there from the Italian, and also a great debut from Pierre Gasly, who has also scored points in his first ever Formula 1 race, finishing just behind Ghiotto in 9th place. The final points paying position went to Kevin Magnussen in 10th place, and that could have been me. But hindsight is a wonderful thing. If I hadn't made that pit stop under the second safety car, I might have been able to get a point there, but like I said earlier, I didn't expect so many cars in front to actually drop out of contention there, because I think I was running in about 14th place when I made that call to pit. Then of course you got myself there finishing in 11th. I couldn't catch Magnussen on that final lap. I had like 2.5 seconds to pull in, and I got it down to just under 2 seconds, but obviously that wasn't quite enough. In 12th place was Charles Leclerc, with Louis Deletraz finishing in 13th place. Pascal Wehrlein came home in 14th, with Esteban Ocon in 15th. Daniel Kvyat finished in 16th place, with Oliver Rowland in 17th. Our teammate Kamui Kobayashi came home in 18th on his return to Formula 1, with Fernando Alonso the last of the finishers, surprisingly, because that Renault is very quick, as his teammate finished in 4th place, and of course Fernando himself is very quick, as he is of course two-time world champion, and he came home in last place. I believe he did get tangled up, possibly in that Giovinazzi incident. And of course you have Max Verstappen and both Ferraris, Antonio Giovinazzi and Sebastian Vettel, not finishing that race. It's been a disaster weekend for the Scuderia, with what looked like both of their cars crashing out of this race. That is absolutely bonkers. They're a terrible weekend for Ferrari, and they'll be hoping to bounce back in the next round in Bahrain. So if we have a look at the championship standings, obviously the drivers will be the same, so we'll skip straight to the constructors, where Tyrrell are leading the way with 33 points, 5 points more than McLaren Mercedes, who find themselves in second place with 28 points. In third place is Red Bull Racing on 15 points, 3 points more than Renault, who are in fourth. Williams are in fifth on 6 points, with Force India in sixth on 4 points. Toro Rosso are in seventh with 2 points, and Haas in eighth on 1 point. Then you have Toyota, BMW Sauber, and Scuderia Ferrari, who have all not scored any points so far. Of course, both Ferrari cars crashing out of today's Australian Grand Prix, not the start Ferrari wanted to the season. So that is all for today, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fitcho, and I'll see you all next time.